Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be talking about the best builds for Brann in Season 2 of the War Within 4 Delves and the various specs of Brann and why you should choose certain Curios. So let's just talk about Brann straight away and let's dive right in. So we'll talk about Brann in terms of tanking. So in terms of Brann's role, the tank Brann is a new spec. Basically it's one of the strongest specs. He taunts, he tanks, he can deal good damage, he becomes stronger basically with every heal he gets, and he does a really good job. And where he thrives is for healers. Healers now can effectively run delves while relying on Brann to actually tank and do stuff. Whereas before they really struggled due to the fact that they would often be targeted, which is very difficult to do. So Brann is definitely an alternative for that now. In terms of best choice, for Combat Curio, you're looking for the Mechasaurus Easy Build Kit. Mechasaurus Easy Build changes the egg talent spec of Brann. So when Brann has his epic egg, you would kind of destroy it and then it would turn into a Devil Saw. Now the egg instead houses a Mechasaur. The Mechasaur will for 4 seconds taunt enemies, but also the Mechasaur will stomp enemies, dealing fire damage, exploding enemies, and just doing a lot of really good AoE. It's one of the best ones because what it does is mainly the taunt. It's quite frequent and allows you to really pull the heat off of you. In terms of utility curio, you're going to be looking at the Loot Raid R. Every 60 seconds or 5 seconds after entering combat, scan the environment, highlighting mislaid curiosities and making enemies below 95% health take 4% more damage. The reason this delve is good is because basically it's just a flat 4% damage buff, which scales really well when you consider how Brann's DPS scaling in his tank form works. So it's really quite good. Brann in his tank form has a lot of really good stuff, but one of the most important ones basically is essentially his Veteran of the Iron Forge, which increases his damage really good, and of course his epic egg with that upgrade. In terms of DPS, so all tanks pretty much will choose Brann as a DPS, although tanks obviously can survive quite well. Brann's DPS is really honestly just super helpful for taking out bosses, taking out enemies. It's just something that's really good. Lots of tanks will pick Brann. It's essentially, yeah, really solid. One of the best ones, depending on your class, is going to be Ping to Augment Chip. Ping to Augment Chip increases Brann by a flat 20%. It's really potent, it's super duper easy to handle, and because you are able to generally intercept the mechanical bots, you can dispel them with your tank, and you are then able to intercept them, taunt them, and pull them away from Brann, which means for a lot of tanking classes this is going to be top priority because of its really big flat 20% increase. In terms of the utility, we're looking at the biofuel rocket gear. This also obviously very potent, allowing you to get a haste buff, haste being a very good primary stat for all tanks. So this is the ideal DPS build for offensive Brann. The final spec before we touch on universal ones is going to be the healer. Healing spec is an ideal choice. It helps DPS players a lot, especially melee DPS. Healer Brann really can kind of just cover for your lacking utility as a DPS. So where this is super duper solid is obviously very similarly in nature to like how the tanking works for healers, you don't have to worry so much about maintaining yourself and can just more worry about pure DPS. Pinged augmentship is again ideal here, largely due to the fact that you can intercept the bots and nuke them down, and this will keep Brann's 20% heal buff up, which is obviously always something that's incredibly helpful. His utility Curio for DPS is going to be Overdrive Pylon. After 30 seconds of combat, party members in Brann deal 5% more damage and healing for 20 seconds. This is super helpful. This can be really good for kind of those long boss fights that tend to just make really like long work of trying to take down enemies, and helps those who lack single target damage. In terms of universal options, so there are 3 options that you can kind of just choose no matter what, and generally speaking they'll be pretty solid. So basically a 3-dimensional printer right now is really good. 3-dimensional bioprinter, damaging an elite creature below 40% health, creates an imperfect copy of it at 50% power. Only 1 copy can exist at a time. So this is really impressive. Obviously this can also be misfired, but because this can misfire and cause copies of your own companions, and the Mechasaur EZ build essentially counts as a companion, you can just end up with double Mechasaurs. So this is OP right now. It's definitely probably going to be patched completely. The other one that I think is also really good is the Pacifist rig. I see a lot of people doing this, and the Pacifist rig is really solid, especially if you're looking for a bit of CC. Maybe you are struggling with CC, maybe you're unable to really keep control of opposition, then this Pacifist rig is going to be the best for you. But that's that. That is the best Brann builds for Season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any queries or questions. That's it from me. Bye.